Hi everyone, Mike here from Shopify. Today we're going to be going through how to set up a Shopify store. Let's get started. Here we can see the Shopify homepage. If we navigate up to Start Free Trial and click on this button, it will bring you to a page where you can choose whether you're just starting or if you're already selling online or in person. So for this webinar, we're going to choose I'm just starting. Hit next, and then on this next page, you can choose whether you're setting up an online store, you're selling in person, whether you're selling on an online blog or website, through social media or marketplaces such as Google or Amazon. If you're not too sure yet, you can choose this option as well. So here we're going to choose an online store. Hit next, and then here we are being asked to provide what types of products you sell. So I'm going to choose products I buy and make myself, but you can also choose digital products, drop shipping products, services such as coaching, print-on-demand products, or you can choose to decide later. Next, we can choose our country or region. So I'm going to choose the United Kingdom, then hit next. So on this page, you can choose how you'd like to create your Shopify ID. So you can add your own email. You can do it through your Apple ID, through Facebook, or if you have a Google account, you can do it there as well. So for the purposes of this webinar, I have created my own test store here, which we're going to go through today. So the first thing that we're going to do is have a look at the admin here. So the home page is where you'll see when you first set up your store, your setup guide. So it's going to provide you with prompts and suggestions on how to add your products, customize your store, adding your own domain, giving your store a name, which I've already actually done here, Sandra Soaps, and setting up Shopify payments. So when the store has been a bit more established, you will be able to see some suggestions for services or other things that you could potentially need to be aware of. Next, we have our orders. So this is where the customer orders will come through. You can create your own draft orders, shipping labels, and you will also see your abandoned checkouts here in this section if a customer goes to the checkout but doesn't complete the order. Next, we have our products. So under the product section, we have some sample products that I've already created here. We have the different collections, and you can keep a track of your inventory, your purchase orders. So if you're purchasing from a supplier, transfers. So this is reserved for transfers coming from another warehouse or a location, for example. And then the gift cards. So if you're selling gift cards to your customers. Next, we'll go into customers. So this is where you can see your customer information. You can also check out the segments here. So under segments, you'll be able to see different customer segments that you already have or that you've set up so you can group the customers together. So in the next section here, we have content. So in content, we have meta objects and files. For meta objects, these are custom objects that you can add to the store. So if you want to display certain specific information, and then in the file section, this is where any images or videos, for example, that you've uploaded appear. And then in the next section here, we have analytics. So this is where your reporting and analytics live. So it's very empty here at the moment because it's our brand new store. But typically this is where you'd see information regarding your sales, your orders, things like that. And you can get a good overview of how your store is performing. And then in the reporting, you can view your different reports that are available to you. And then in the live view, you can see who is looking at your store right now. Then in the marketing section, we have an overview as well, and you can take a look at the different options for your marketing. Then you can create campaigns through the marketing section and also your own marketing automation, so you can send emails out to your customers automatically. Then the next section we have here is discounts. So from discounts, you can create your own discount for the store. So you can create an automated or a manual discount. So this allows you to apply a discount, for example, when a customer reaches the checkout, it can automatically apply, or they can enter a discount code that will give them the discount. So the next section here we have is sales channels. So the first sales channel is your online store. And then under the online store, you have your themes, which we're going to go into in a bit more detail later. You have your blog posts, your pages, your navigation, and your preferences. So the blog posts is where you can add your blogs, you can create your blogs. Pages is where you can add pages for your store. The navigation is where you can decide how the menu is laid out for the store, so your footer and your main menu. And then in your preferences, you have a couple more options here. You can add in your meta description, your social sharing images for different social media platforms, your Google Analytics information, and your Facebook pixel. Next, we have under the sales channels, the point of sale sales channel. So this is for merchants that are selling in person. So you can set that up and have your store set up so that your in-person sales can be added to your online store for you. And then the next and the last section we have here is the apps. So as you can see, this is very empty at the moment. We have our one installed app, which is automatically added, our geolocation app for letting customers choose their currency and location when they visit the store. But our app store has thousands of different apps available that you can browse through. Some are Shopify apps, some are third-party apps, and some of them are paid as well. And you can add loads of different functionalities to your store depending on your needs. So that is a brief overview of the admin. So next we're going to take a look at adding a product. So click on this option. And then here we can see some products that have already been added. You can filter them by active, which are products that are currently available on the online store. Draft, so products that you might be working on that aren't published yet. And then archived, so products that you may have had in the past, but you no longer have. So to add a product, you go into add product. And we're going to add a product called vanilla soap. And I'm going to use my copy that I already have here from earlier for the description. Paste it in here. And also a very handy feature is you can choose this generate text option. And if you fill in some options here, for example, some keywords for what you would like. So you could say something like soap or vanilla, that kind of thing. And then you can choose the tone of it. So you can have it as sophisticated, for example, or maybe you'd like to have a bit more of an expert tone. And then you can choose generate text, and then that will create the whole description for you. So next, we're going to scroll down here and add an image. Perfect. So now that we have our image, it's time to set the price for the soap. So we can set that to £7.99, for example. And for today, for this demonstration, we're not going to set a compare at price. But what this button does is, for example, if I had this set to $11.99, when a website visitor is viewing the product on the store, they would see $11.99 with a strike through and then $7.99 as the current price. So it would show up as a sale price for the customer. So for cost per item, you could say how much the soap costs to produce. So for example, we could put £2 here for this one. And then for track quantity, this is to let you know if you want to track the amount of stock that you have available. So for example, we could say we have 500 soaps available, and then continue selling when out of stock. So say if you do run out of your 500 soaps, and you go into minus territory, but you know that you'll keep producing them, you can keep selling it then on the website when you're out of stock, and then you can fulfill those orders when you're able to. Then you can choose whether if you want to include a SKU or a barcode here in this section. And then for the weight, so here you can also say whether the product requires shipping or not. So for this one, because it's a physical product, we would say yes. But say if you're selling a digital product, for example, you could untick this box here. So for the weight, we could put 0.2 kilos. And then for your variants, you could add different options. So you could have a different size soap, or a different colored soap, or a different flavor, for example. And then once you're ready, you can save the product. Now, before we do so as well, you can decide if you want to save it as a draft, so if you want to keep editing, or if you want to save it as active. Under publishing, you can choose if you want to publish it to your online store or to your point of sale. And this little symbol here that looks like a calendar and a clock, if you click on this, you can actually choose a date and time that you would like to publish it as well. So next, we have the different markets that you're selling it in. And then here you can just categorize the product. So you can have the product category that it fits into, the product type, the vendor, for example, if it's being sold by another vendor, the collections it belongs to, which we're going to go into in a bit more detail later, and then the tags that the product has. So you can add those in here. So now we're going to hit save, and this will create your product for you. So we're going to navigate back here, and then we see vanilla soap has been added to our products. So the next thing that we're going to go over is creating a collection. So this is done in the collection section here, and we can see this one that I have created earlier. So it has our towels and our lotions. And then the homepage collection is automatically created when you generate your store. So in order to make a collection, you go into create collection, and then you will come to this page. So on the create collection page, you can choose the name of your collection. So for example, we could call this collection soaps. And then you can paste in, this is my quick description of the collection from earlier. And then an important thing to know about collections is there are two different collection types. So we have a manual collection and an automated collection. So for manual collection, this is a collection that you create and you add products to manually, hence the name. So anytime you want to add a new product to this collection, you would either add it in the section, the previous section from products, or you can go into the collection itself and add the product from there. For an automated collection, this is a collection with a set number of conditions which automatically adds a product into the collection. So for example, here we have some conditions that are set. So you could have that the collection needs to have all the conditions that you set or any of the conditions. And then there's loads of different options to choose between. A popular one is the product tag. So for example, if you had a tag here and you called it soap or soaps, if a tag has been added to a product called soaps, it'll automatically then be added into that collection. So we're going to create this collection here to see how it looks like. And before doing so, this menu we'll quickly take a look at. So this tells you where it's going to be published to, the online store or the point of sale channel. And again, we can choose the calendar and choose a date and time. And then we can add an image for the collection. So let's see if we can find a soap image that we can add in here. So drag that one across. And we have our image there for the collection then. So when you're ready, you hit save. And that creates a collection. And again, like with products, we can go back and we see our newly added collection. So this is an automated collection where the product tag is equal to soaps. So very quickly, we'll just do a manual one to show how that looks like. So we'll do soaps 2. Add in the same description. And then choose manual, save. And then if we go back to collections, this is our manual. And then you'll see the option to search for your products. And you can browse as well and add them manually into a collection. So we can go here and choose our olive oil soap, add, and you can see then it's been added to your collection for you. And that is how collections work. So next we're going to head over to the online store and we're going to go through how to add an About Us page. So that can be done from the pages section we took a look at earlier. To add an About Us page, we go to Add Page and we can call it About Us. Then we have our pre-populated information here that we're going to drag on over. And then you can just make sure everything looks good. You can decide if you want to set it as visible or hidden, and you can choose your date that you want it to become publicly available. And then under the theme template, you can usually use a default page, and this will be your standard template page. Or if you're creating a contact page, you can choose the contact option, which will create a handy little contact form for you instead of having to generate this yourself. But for this one, because it's a About Us page, we'll be using the default template. So when you're ready, you can hit save. And again, we'll go back to pages. And then we see our new About Us page has been added there. So if you do want to edit it for any reason, you can hit the little box there beside it, go to Actions, and you can hit delete or hide or make it visible as well. And that is how you create an About Us page. So the next thing we're going to take a look at is creating a blog post. So we're going to go under Online Store, Blog Posts, and create a blog post. So very, very similar. Call it Welcome to Our Store. And then we have a bit of copy here. Oh, actually, we're going to call the post Power of Quality Soap. So we're going to copy the blog post here from our other page. Perfect. And let's see, we'll add in an image. So we'll drag this one over from our other screen. But if you hit the add image, it'll open up your options to add images from your computer as well. And then you can add a little excerpt if you'd like. So a little kind of a tagline or a little summary for the blog post. That's going to show up when you're scrolling through the different blog posts. And then under the author, you can post whoever you'd like. You can have different types of blogs as well. You can add tags to your blogs. And then for the theme template, we'll have the default blog post. So that's the template we'll use for that. You can set the visibility to visible or hidden, as with the other pages, or choose a visibility date. And then when you're ready, you can hit save. And quickly, before we do so as well, I want to highlight that we have the generate text option here again, so we can use AI to generate all your text for you if you'd like. Perfect. So here we'll hit save. And this has created the blog post for you. And then if we head back to blog posts, we'll see the power of quality soap has been added. Perfect. So that's how you create a blog post. So the next thing we're going to do is take a look at how to edit menus. So we're going to go back to our admin here. Then under online store, we're going to go to navigation, and then we'll see our menu pages. Okay, so what we're going to do next is we're going to go into our main menu, and we're going to add a menu item. And from here, we're going to add our About Us page, which will now be linked under Pages, About Us. So then we can go into Add, and that will add the About Us page as a menu item at the top of your header on the website. So hit save when you're ready, and that will add the change for you. So another interesting thing we can do here is, obviously we have our edit and delete options. So for example, I'm going to edit here and change the navigation, then delete as well if we need. If you do want a menu item that you don't want to link to any page, we can use a hashtag. Perfect. So we choose a hashtag there, and then apply changes, and then it means that that menu item won't be linked to anything. Okay. So if we do want to move our menu items around, we can drag and drop them as well. If we want to reorder them, have them in a certain order, that can be done as well. And then you can add a new menu item here, like we did with our About Us page. And then when you have everything the way you'd like, you can hit save up here on the top right. And that is our menu items. So the next thing that we're going to take a look at is the themes page, which is found under our online store as well. So here on our themes page, we see our current theme, which is the preloaded free Dawn theme, which is developed by Shopify. So under the theme, you can see the version that you currently have, which should be the most up-to-date version. You can also choose to update the theme from here. You can navigate to your store using this link, and it'll show you what your store currently looks like. At the moment, the store is password protected until we're ready to take it live. So you can choose to remove the password from here once you are ready. If we look at the three dots, we'll see an option to preview again. You can rename your theme. You can duplicate, so create a copy of your theme. You can download the theme file. This is good for situations if you want to upload it to another store, for example. You can edit your theme code and add your own custom code. And you can edit the default theme content. So this is a great section if you want to change some of the wording or the language of the theme specifically. So next we have our theme library. And from here we can add a theme, and we can go on to the theme store, which has hundreds of different themes available. We have Shopify developed themes, we have third-party themes, all available on the Shopify theme store. And then you can upload a theme if you have your own that you would like to use, or connect it from GitHub. Here we can see some examples of the available free themes that we have on our store that are all Shopify developed. Or again, you can go onto the theme store if you'd like to browse there. If you'd like to quickly add a theme, you can just click the add button beside any of the theme and it'll add it to your theme library for you. So the theme library is where you can store all your existing themes, and then an option will appear to make it your main theme if you'd like to make it your live theme that shows up here at the top. So next we're going to take a look at Customize, which brings you to your theme editor. So in the theme editor, we see this menu here on the right hand side. So we have our header with the announcement bar. So you can see a little message there. Welcome to our store. For example, we could go into this message here and change that to welcome to Sarah's Soaps. And you can see the message has updated. And then you can even add a link to a certain page if you'd like to, for example, have a message about free shipping and then link it to your shipping policy if you made one under Pages. And then when you've made any changes, you can hit save. So then you can see that the change has been made for you there. And then under the header, you can see the different menu items. You have your main menu, and then you can choose the menu types. So you can have a mega menu, for example, a drawer, that kind of pops up here on the side. And then you can choose if you want the header to be sticky or not. So if it's going to follow you down as you scroll. So for example, if you hit always, you'll see that the header is following you all the way down. And then you can decide if you want to have a separator line or not between the header and the next section. And then you can choose your color scheme under the scheme section. So you could choose the different colors available. And then you can choose to have your country selector. So here we have the United Kingdom, Great British Pounds. So you can have that enabled or disabled, and then your language selector as well, if you'd like to have an option for the different languages. So we're not seeing that at the moment because English is the only language available for the store right now. So you can choose some other options here, like how it would look for mobile layout, the spacing, the section padding, and lots of other different available things. So next, we can take a look here at the different options. So you can add a second announcement under the header, for example, if you wanted. So you can add one right under the other. You can add a new block from the header. So you can add a little section there. And then speaking of sections, you can add another section to the store. So an announcement bar, for example, or some custom liquid. And then here we have the template itself. So we have our image banner. So we can go into that, select our image. And then if we choose a second image, it will scroll between them, filter between the two images. And then here we can see some other options for how you can edit the image banner as well. So next, we're going to go back out. Here we see our little message. We can click on that to change it. Again, we have our great AI option here where you can generate something yourself, or you can choose what you'd like to add. For example, take a look at our store. And here we have our button. So you can edit the button from this section. You can choose what you'd like the button to say, where it links to, if you'd like it to have an outline, if you want a second button label. There's lots of different options available there. So next here under the template, we have our featured collection. So that's all the products that we've added. This all automatically gets added in for you. So you can see here, we have our different towels, our different soaps that we've added in. And then we have the heading here, featured products, which we can edit, add the heading size, a little description if we want it under here, and then lots of different options for how much information you want to display, how you want it displayed, what collection. So all is a collection with all of your products in it. And then we have some other options here about how you'd like to make the products appear. And then you can remove the section here if you'd like as well. So there's plenty of different ways you can edit your theme, customize it to your liking. And then lastly, we have the footer here. So in the footer, we have our payment types, an option to subscribe, which all comes automatically with the theme when it's added the Dawn theme to your store. So you have your different payment types. You can choose your country, whichever one you'd like. So this is for customers when they're browsing the store. The option to subscribe to the email list. And that is how you customize your theme. So we're going to head back to the main page. We're going to save that, make sure we save our changes, and then head back to the main page here. And we're going to take a look at the marketing. So in this section, we went over it very briefly, but in this section we have live information that we can view. So the store sessions, the conversion rate, the average order value, the sales, sales that are due to marketing, and the orders that are attributed to marketing as well. So you can view lots of different information data over here. Here's some suggested marketing apps that are available on our app store as well, that are very popular amongst our merchants. And then here's some great little videos that you can check out as well from the Shopify Learn page. So here we can go into campaigns, and this is where you can create marketing campaigns. So obviously, because this is a new store, there's nothing available as of yet, but when you do start creating your campaigns, the information will come up here. And then lastly, under marketing, we have our automations. So you can create your own marketing automations. For example, there's some templates here you can use for an abandoned cart, which will automatically email a website visitor if they've an abandoned cart to kind of remind them. You might want to send a promo code or something like that to see if you can get them to complete the sale. Or here's another one for abandoned product browse. So they're browsing around the products, but then they left the website. So here you can check out the automation templates as well. And then if you want to create an automation, you click on the button up here, and you can see all the different available options. So that is your marketing section. And then we're going to have a quick look at content. So under content, we have the meta object section. So we can add our meta objects here to have custom information that you'd like to display on your store. And then in the next section here, we have the files. So this is all the videos or images you've added into your store. You can upload files here, or you can edit your files as well, delete them. And this is a file link as well that you can use internally within the store if you'd like to add a file to another section within your team manually, for example. And that is pretty much all you need to know about the content section. So next, we're going to take a look at the shipping settings. So we're going to go to the settings here on the bottom left, and we're going to head to shipping and delivery. And here you can see the general shipping rates for the store. And then you can also add your own shipping profile. So this allows you to group your shipping based on the destination, for example, or if you want to have certain rates for certain products for certain countries, things like that, you can have it the way you like it set up. You can also display your expected delivery date if you'd like. So you can show this at checkout. You can have local delivery, local pickup, which are both pretty self-explanatory. And then you have your main address here, and then delivery customizations. So you can add an app to do this if you'd like to have certain customizations for your deliveries. You can add in a package here. So this will be your default package that you use for shipping your items. So you would input the package dimensions and the package weight, and then this will be used when you're going to fulfill an order in the order section. And then with Shopify shipping, this is one of our services that we offer where you can buy discounted shipping labels through Shopify with our partners. So in the case of the UK, that would be DPD and Every. So you can use Shopify shipping to have your calculated shipping rates from these services at the checkout. You can add your own carrier accounts here if you'd like as well. And you can edit your packing slips template in this section down here. And then for the order fulfillment, you can add an email for custom order fulfillment. For example, if you have your own carrier that you're using, you can add the service in here. So that's pretty much everything on the shipping section. So next we're going to go into the general shipping rates. So here we have our general profile, and at the top we can see our products that have automatically been added in. If we scroll down a little bit, we see our shipping origins. So that's where the products are being shipped from. If you have more than one location, you can hit manage and choose between locations there. So in this sample store, we only have this address, so it's the only one that will be shown as available. Then next we have our shipping zones, so the different areas that we want to ship to. So for example, in this store, we have the EU, International, and the United Kingdom. If you want to create a zone, you can click on the hyperlink here, and you can search for the country or the region, and then once you're ready, you can hit done, and that will add it in for you. Under the shipping rates, we can see the name of the rate, the condition for that rate to apply, and the transit time, so how long it takes for it to be shipped. And we have our price here as well. If we want to edit this, we can hit the three dots across from the rate, hit edit rate, and a pop-up will appear where you can choose the different options available. You can choose the different prices, and you can change the conditions if you'd like as well. So based on the item weight or the price, whichever you prefer. If you don't want to set any conditions, you can choose remove conditions as well. And then when you're ready, you can hit done. So the next thing we can look at is editing a zone. So if you want to edit a zone, you can do that by hitting the three dots, going to edit zone, and then you can change what countries you would like to include within that zone. So if you'd like to add another country to EU here, for example, you can search for the country, hit the box beside it, and then hit done when you're ready. So now we've gone through editing the rates and the different zones. And then if you want to choose to ship to another location, you need to also make sure that it's been added to your markets. So you can do that by hitting go to markets and creating a new country or region within your markets, and then you'll be all set for shipping to that market. So that is the shippings. And next we're going to take a look at the taxes and duties section. So we can find that by going back up here, looking at our menu items, we see taxes and duties. So for the section here, we can see the different countries that we sell to. So under collecting, it will show you whether you're collecting taxes at the moment or not. If you'd like to start collecting taxes, you can hit the section. So for example, for EU, you can go into collect VAT and then choose which method you would like to use. If you have one-stop shop, a micro business, or country-specific registration, for example, in the EU, and then you choose your option and follow the prompts there. Then you can choose other options, such as shipping to the EU, where you can edit the different options there. And then under the next section, we have our tax overrides. So if you wanted to create an override for shipping or for products, for example, you could do those under the tabs there. So that's how you set up the shipping for a specific country or region. Something to note is that it does vary depending on the region. And if you're unsure at all about your taxes or your VAT, the best thing to do is to consult an expert or a local tax consultant. So under here, we have our duties and import taxes. So you can set those up to make sure that you're correctly configured for those. And then lastly, in the taxes, we have the different options for how you'd want the taxes to be charged. So you can decide if you want to include the taxes in the prices, if you want to charge on the shipping rates, and if you want to charge VAT on the digital goods. So just make sure you have everything correctly set up there the way you'd like, and then you can hit save. So the next thing we're going to take a look at is the notifications. So that can be found here under settings, notifications. So here you see at the top the option to customize the email templates. So you can use that to set up how all your emails look in general. You can change your logo, for example, or the color scheme that you're using for all the emails you're sending out to customers. Here under the sender email, you can add in your email address that you'd like to see the emails being sent from. So it's what the customers will see when they receive an email from you. And then here we have our individual templates that we can go through. So the different order templates, then we have our shipping templates here. We can decide whether we want to enable or disable some of them as well. Then we have local delivery, local pickups, customer notifications, gift cards, email marketing, returns. And then here at the bottom, there's a couple of other options. You can decide whether you want the customers to opt in to marketing or not. So you can choose which type of option you'd like to enable there. Then for the staff order notifications, you'd like to, you can let the staff know when new orders come in, for example, new order requests, or if sales attribution has been edited. So you can decide what recipients receive those particular emails, which staff members. And then the new draft order is another notification you can edit here. And you can add in, lastly, your webhooks from this section if you'd like to do that. And then we're going to quickly scroll back up and just take a little look at how one of these notifications look. So the order confirmation, this is the email the customers receive when they set up. And you can see the template here and how it looks. And we can check how it looks for SMS as well by text. And you can deactivate that as well if you'd prefer. And then you can send yourself a test to see how it looks if you've made some changes. And here you can click on edit code and edit the email if you'd like. So that is your notifications. And then we're going to take a look next at the payment section, which is here in the settings. So for the payments, you can set up our own payment provider, Shopify Payments, which offers competitive credit card rates. Everything is integrated within your Shopify store, so it's very seamless integration. So you can see here that I have started the process of setting that up for my test store here. You can add loads of other additional payment methods as well, such as PayPal, Amazon Pay. Klarna is becoming a very popular option as well amongst our merchants. You can add in your own manual payment methods, and you can also add in payment customizations through third-party apps from our app store. You can decide also if you'd like to automatically capture payments when they come through, or if you'd like to manually review them, you can click on Manage here and then choose Manually, or you can automatically capture payment once the order has been fulfilled. Perfect. So next we're going to take a look at the domains in this section here. So very quickly about domains, we have our Shopify URL. So this is the domain that's generated for you when you set up a Shopify store. It's an automated domain name, so you can see the series of numbers and letters there to start. So what we normally suggest is either you choose the option to buy a domain through Shopify, or you connect an existing third-party domain through a web provider like GoDaddy or one.com, for example. And the reason we do this is it's a little bit difficult to attract customers to a website, for example, if it's the domain ends with myshopify.com. So it's always best to buy a domain related to the name of your store or what you're selling. So, for example, in my store here, I could try and see if sandrassoaps.com might be available and purchase that domain or something similar. Perfect. So there we have our domains, and the last thing that we're going to check out here is how to place an order. So in order to do so, we're going to navigate to our store, and we're going to choose one of our products. So we'll go and get ourselves some orange soap and add that to the cart, and then check out. Input our details, choose our shipping method, and then for the purposes of this, we're going to place a test order. So what you do is when you're testing Shopify payments or another payment provider, you can set it to test mode, which I've done in this instance. And when you do that, you can input the test details, which will allow you to simulate, for example, a real order or a test order to see that it goes through as it should. So we're going to do any old expiration date, any old security code, make sure details show correctly. Okay, so it doesn't seem like that went through, so I'll make sure I have the correct details here. So what we'll do is try and test the Visa card. And for testing the Shopify Payments Gateway, all the information can be found on our Help Center. So if you search for testing Shopify payments, you can see what details you need to enter here in the payment field in order to simulate a certain type of payment, like a failed payment, for example, or using a certain type of card as well. So let's see if this works. Perfect. So we have our first order. So we can see that that's gone through now. So if we navigate back here to our store, go to orders, we'll see that a new order has been placed. So what you can do is take a look at the order. You can see very clearly here from the orange banner that this is a test order, so it's not actually going through. So no one was charged and you're not going to receive a payout for it. We can see the status of the product. So at the moment it's unfulfilled. And here on the right, we have the customer details. So the name, the email, shipping address. And then under here, we have the shipping method chosen. So what they paid for their shipping, the cost of the item, and then the total cost of the order. And then under the timeline, we have all the series of events that happen with the order. So for example, once the order is fulfilled, once the confirmation is sent out, once the order has been shipped, all that stuff, the timeline will be updated to reflect that. So the next thing we'll have a look at here is the fraud analysis. So this is a handy little feature that comes with Shopify. So basically this lets you know what kind of a risk of fraud there is for a particular order. So Shopify can filter through if a customer, for example, entered the incorrect details a couple of times first, or if the email address, the name, or the address that the customer used has been flagged, or their payment method, that kind of a thing. And then we have a low, medium, or high risk based on those factors. So if you look at the details, here are the different indicators that we have, and we're seeing green for all of those. So it looks like it's all good. There's nothing here that seems suspicious. So we're good to go ahead. And then you can read a little bit more about fraud analysis if you follow these hyperlinks here, and that will bring you over to our help center. So the next thing that we're going to take a look at here is the customer profile before we finish up for today. So if we click on the hyperlink for the customer, Shopify test, we can see the customer's information. So under here, we have customer, their email address, the notifications language that they've chosen, and the default address, if they're subscribed to marketing or not. And then under customer, across from customer, you can hit the little pen, you can edit their contact information, You can manage the customer addresses, edit the marketing details, create a tax exemption if you'd like, or add them to a company. So that's all the different options there under the customers. And that is everything that we're going through for today. So I would like to thank you all so much for joining me today. If you do have any follow-up questions, you can reach out to our community directly, or you can also reach out to our support team who would be happy to help. Thank you so much, and we hope to see you on the platform soon.